Developing relational expertise, integrating relational expertise into a trauma-informed approach by Leslie Ann Flynn. Introduction. I'm going to reflect on a previous redesign activity I completed. We're going to tie this in with what I've learned in relational expertise so far. I'm going to reflect on my current practices. I'm going to look at what I've learned, and we're going to look to the future, to what is next. My previous redesign for a module called Speaking to Diversity, setting the scene with small changes, a trauma-informed practice. So let's set the scene. In February 24, 2022, the war commenced in the Ukraine. This resulted in the mass displacement of Ukrainian citizens, and thus Ireland welcomed 79,355 refugees in. The impact for me in education was I had now got an increased number of refugees being integrated into the education system. In September 2023, facing a cohort of students that were fleeing from trauma, living in hotels or with host families, or worse, with nowhere to live, this caused massive safety and well-being issues. And of course, language and cultural barriers. Downey in 2007 stated that complex trauma has also been studied in relation to the students' academic performance. And research has argued that it can have certain negative effects on this, such as reduced cognitive capacity, sleep disturbance, difficulties with memory, and language delays. So what did I do? I had to flip the classroom, because research on refugees' background students has sometimes promoted a deficit perspective, construing refugees as lacking in social, psychological, and linguistic resources. So I made notes available 1 week prior to class. They were in accessible formats, used to facilitate easy translation if the students so wished. We had discussion forums on Moodle, which allowed all students within the class ask and answer questions. I provided additional resources, and we used PowerPoint Live in our face-to-face sessions. Karen Treisman said that every moment an interaction can be an intervention. We want to enrich the experience for our students. We also want to empower them. We want to give them choice. And of course, always equity. So what did my learners say about this? They felt included. They felt it was achievable. They felt it was simple and easy to follow. They felt the environment was calm and not chaotic. They enjoyed the module more. They had confidence in not only the module, but in their learning and how they spoke in class. But now let's look at how relational expertise comes into play. A common knowledge or understanding around a particular issue or phenomenon. I used Cobb's 1989 experimental learning cycle. Simply put, it's plan, do, review, and apply. What did I learn? Some students may fit or intersect with several equity categories identified in policy, and thus face multiple barriers to access, participation, and success in the system. Positive learner identities are more likely to be developed, sustained if educators help to position learners as the authors of their own learning trajectories. Students who feel a sense of belonging are more likely to persist in their studies, leading to improved performance and retention rates. Using Cobb's cycle while reviewing the previous learner feedback, we can see that included is something that learners already felt, although that was not the main focus at the time. And it is my further understanding of relational expertise that allows me to see that I was targeting multiple intersections of the learner's identity at the time. Behaviour is a means of communication. I will continue using the flipped classroom approach in all my modules and with all my students. I will expand the use of the flipped classroom into other modules. I will engage in more dialogue with students to ensure that their ever-changing needs are met. We can't help everybody, but we can all help somebody. According to the American Psychological Association,